Here with Brandon Triche during Boeheim's Army at OCC and this year's 2019 TBT. And obviously here with Dan Tortora. Brandon, how's it feel to be back?
Obviously I'm from Syracuse, born and raised, so anytime I could come back to Syracuse, to be with my family, just see familiar faces, I always enjoy it. I try to drive around, go from all the old places I used to go, whether it's parks or gyms, things like that, just so I can, be in Syracuse and be a part of the community.
What are some of your favorite places to go back to, be it food or be it a gym or something like that, or maybe a store?
Well, the Jewish Community Center, I live really close to there, so I go there pretty much every summer, pretty much every day. For me, it's obviously the Gannons for ice cream, Arctic for ice cream, Delmonico food, Fridays in the mall. Obviously, I go through the mall, try to buy stuff, shopping. But other than that, that's pretty much all places.
So you spent some time in Italy. You'll be heading off to Turkey soon. What did you take away from your experience overseas in Italy?
Just being the level of consistency is important for me. For me, it's more important to score. If I'm going to average 20 points, to score 20, 21, 22 every game versus have a big game of 40 and the next game 5. Still the same average, but lack of consistency. So I wanted to do that, and I focused on that by just being in the gym, being repetitive. Just working on my craft and things like that, and it worked out for me.
You got Turkey coming up here. You're going to be there for a couple of years. What are you looking forward to heading off to Turkey and continuing your professional career there?
Well, just coming off injury, obviously it's a little bit different experience because obviously I had to get back to the level that I was at. Once I do that, I just want to keep the same mindset. Just be aggressive, attack each practice, attack. The weight room, attack every aspect of basketball while I'm there, while maintaining my body, eating well, and things like that.
Your uncle got to come up here. Howard was here watching Boeheim's Army. What does it mean to you when you get some time to spend around him as well? And do you still pick his brain about the game?
Well, I wouldn't say I never picked his brain. His family, so it's not like it's just like me talking to anybody else versus about basketball, about anything. Typically, I work the basketball camps. We have a family camp, which is Norma Triche, like a nonprofit things at Southwest Community Center. So I usually work that every summer. But this year, because I was hurt, I couldn't really run or jump. So I kind of was in and out of town and trying to, keep myself busy. But of course, his family, obviously, even like his daughters and stuff like that. So she lives in New York, and I'm busy in New York a lot, so we were able to hang out. But again, it's family, so I don't think of it, this individual I have to see.
So you're here, you get to be a part of Boeheim's Army. Mm-hmm. What are you taking away from that? Even though you're going through injury, to see these guys come back, to see, Hakeem as well as John Gillen and Andrew White and so on and so forth, Blackwell, obviously Eric Devendorf.
It's always exciting, because a lot of times you follow these guys. Syracuse does a really good job at keeping up with the guys, whether it's just on Syracuse.com. So when I'm overseas, I check Syracuse.com pretty much every day, and they do a really good job making sure where everybody's playing, stats and things like that. So, just to see everybody in person, just see how everybody works. You can always learn something from somebody. So I always enjoy that part.
Being overseas, a lot of Syracuse players have found success overseas. What does it mean to you to keep the career going with knowing that you're part of a lineage of former Syracuse players that have gone overseas and have had a lot of success there?
Well, I think it's just fulfilling whatever potential that you have, expectations, standard. For me, whatever motivation you may have, but for me, it's just being able to perform at a high level and just do what I want to do. I think a lot of times people get on teams and they don't perform the way that they want to perform, so they kind of just take the back seat and things like that. I think this year was me just playing basketball, through the mistakes, and just showing that, okay, he's this type of player. He doesn't have the potential to be, but he's that player now.
The fans seem to love you. always. You know, they show that you had a long line, even though you're not playing here right now and coming through injury and whatnot. All different ages were coming up to you, talking with you, taking pictures, asking you to sign their shirts and whatnot. What does it mean to you that, you know, you as Brandon Triche, I mean, obviously you've always been humble, kind of more on the quiet side and whatnot when it comes to, you know, how you take the off the court stuff, but the fans are always right there with you, always showing love.
Yeah, man, I'm born and raised here, so I wouldn't expect anything different, but also from 09 to 13, we had, you know, really great moments as Syracuse fans. We were able to get to the Final Four. I think maybe either 3 out of the 4 times. I think every year we released was considered #1 in the country. So we always had good teams, and I think that's the most important part. You know, we were able to win and bring those moments, and I think they just give them back. I noticed that so much with my uncle. I mean, he played in the '80s, and I would know that I would just see that everybody knows who he is. You know, every time they see me, they ask me about my uncle, and I think the same thing is happening to me. I'm just excited that everybody wants to see me do well, and I love coming back, and you know, they're some of the best fans in the world.
And you and I talked about the NCAA and what they did with the books, and you said, what does that do with my career starts, because you have the most?
Right.
And I said that I gave them back to you. I think Syracuse believes that they're yours as well.
Yeah. So I think #1 in Syracuse, I think I was timed with #1 in the country, like in the history book. So, but again, you know, I know for me, just when you're able to win, I think it makes everybody feel better. People remember the wins, you know. If you lose a lot, they're gonna remember the losses too. So I'm just happy that there's positive imagery when you think of Brandon Triche.
And final piece, just Jim Boeheim, being able to see him, not only does he support obviously the team that he has at the time, but always welcomes you all back in as a Brotherhood of Syracuse, and he's here with Boeheim's Army, an extension of Syracuse.
Right.
Just what that means to you.
It's important. I mean, that's him, you know, being here, you know, with over 40 years, having so many winning seasons. He's a guy that is greatly respected, you know, in basketball history. So, of course, we're going to give the same respect to him. But I think he also did a great job picking his staff. He picked a lot of guys come back for the staff. A lot of them come back. Obviously, we have a great facility. But when we do come back, it feels like home. You know, it feels like we never left. And I think that's the most important part. If you notice, every summer we have guys who come up and stay for a while, play basketball in the summer. A lot of times it might be different guys. If it wasn't for him, I'm sure a lot of guys would have been coming back to Syracuse just to hang out. So,
kind of coming off of that really quick, just not having Hop here. How weird is that for you not to see Coach Hopkins?
I think it's weird, but I think he's doing really well, obviously. So I'm happy for him. You can only be assistant coach for so long, you know, and you know, he was ready for it. I think Boeheim being able to take him, you know, to the USA games, just making sure he's a part of everything. I think that was really important for him. And he's the coach, man. He's a great coach. He was a great recruiter, and he's doing well, and I'm happy for him.